analyzing the forgotten recordings of real encounters. You are watching Bodycam Story Vault. Data loaded.
You done searching my car yet, or you need more time?
Sir, a vehicle like this in an area like this raises red flags.
Red flags?
People use cars like this to transport drugs. We're checking the VIN to make sure it's not stolen.
Tell me something. Do I look suspicious to you right now?
Sir,
Chief Marcus Williams had been on the job for 2 weeks. 2 weeks reforming a department the DOJ had cited for stopping black drivers at 8 times the rate of white drivers. 2 weeks reviewing policies, meeting community leaders, planning changes. He hadn't met all his deputies yet. Deputy Travis Mitchell, badge number 2847 with 7 years on the force, hadn't met his new boss either. He saw a black man in a Lamborghini Urus on State Route 35 and decided that required investigation. Followed him for 3 miles. Pulled him over. Searched the vehicle without consent or probable cause. Sir, a vehicle like this in an area like this raises red flags. We're just being thorough. Red flags? I'm driving on a public highway in broad daylight. People use cars like this to transport drugs. We're checking the VIN to make sure it's not stolen. Chief Williams watched his own deputy conduct an illegal search of his personal vehicle. Then he pulled out his badge. I'm Chief Marcus Williams. I'm your new boss. I started 2 weeks ago, and you just conducted an illegal search of my vehicle on camera. Mitchell's personnel file revealed 34 prior complaints, all dismissed. His text messages called the stop a hunting trip. His social media questioned how certain people afford luxury cars. 18 months state prison, permanent decertification, and a chief who drove the same Lamborghini to work every day afterward because hiding success wasn't reform. Subscribe to the channel before we continue. These stories need to be told. Friday afternoon. State Route 35. Greenfield County, Ohio. Chief Marcus Williams was driving to his new office to finish unpacking. 2 weeks into the biggest job of his career. The Greenfield County Sheriff's Office had been under DOJ investigation for 3 years. The findings were damning. Black drivers stopped at 8 times the rate of white drivers. Drug searches conducted on minorities without probable cause at 12 times the rate. Complaints ignored, buried, dismissed. Williams was recruited specifically to fix it. 26 years of law enforcement. Former Deputy Chief of Columbus Police. Commander of the Narcotics Division, where he dismantled 14 major drug trafficking organizations. Medal of Valor recipient, twice. FBI National Academy graduate. He had the credentials. He had the experience. He had the mandate for change. He also had a black Lamborghini Urus. He had saved for the car for a decade. Finally pulled the trigger when he got the chief job. 26 years of service. He earned this. As he cruised down State Route 35 at exactly 65 miles per hour, the posted limit, a sheriff's cruiser appeared in his rearview mirror. Fell in behind him. Followed. 1 mile. 2 miles. 3 miles. Williams watched the mirror. He knew what was happening. He had seen this 100 times from the other side. The blue lights activated. He pulled over onto the shoulder. Put the Lamborghini in park. Placed his hands on the steering wheel at 10 and 2. Watched in the side mirror as the deputy approached. Deputy Travis Mitchell. 7 years on the force. Never met the new chief. He was about to. Some encounters reveal everything within the first few seconds. Have you ever sensed a situation was about to go wrong before it actually did? Share your experience in the comments. Mitchell approached the driver's window. Didn't introduce himself. Didn't state a reason for the stop. License and registration. Step out of the vehicle. Williams kept his hands visible on the steering wheel. I'd like to know why I'm being stopped first. Suspicious vehicle. We're going to need to take a look. Suspicious how? I was doing 65 and a 65. What's suspicious about that? Sir, just step out of the vehicle. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Williams recognized the script. He had heard it countless times during his career, from officers he had disciplined, from officers he had terminated, from officers who didn't understand the difference between policing and profiling. He stepped out slowly, hands visible, the discipline of someone who understood how these situations could escalate. Mitchell immediately began patting him down. No consent requested. No probable cause articulated. Then he moved to the Lamborghini. Started searching the interior without permission. Opened the glove box. Checked under the seats. Popped the trunk. Williams watched with his arms crossed, leaning against the car. Almost amused. You done searching my car yet? Or you need more time? Mitchell's head was inside the vehicle. Still searching. Sir, a vehicle like this in an area like this raises red flags. We're just being thorough. Red flags? I'm driving on a public highway in broad daylight. People use cars like this to transport drugs. We're checking the VIN to make sure it's not stolen. Williams uncrossed his arms slowly. The posture of a man who knew exactly how this was about to end. Tell me something. Do I look suspicious to you right now? Mitchell finished his search. Found nothing. Because there was nothing to find. Sir, I'm just doing You're just doing your job. I've heard that before. I've said it before. Williams stepped away from the car. Faced Mitchell directly. Let me tell you what your job actually requires. Reasonable suspicion, probable cause, consent. You have none of those. He reached into his pocket slowly. Mitchell tensed, hand moving toward his weapon. Williams pulled out his badge, the gold Chief of Police shield. I'm Chief Marcus Williams. I'm your new boss. I started 2 weeks ago, and you just conducted an illegal search of my vehicle on camera. When procedure meets prejudice, the footage tells the truth. If you believe documentation matters in situations like these, consider leaving a like. It helps more people understand why proper protocols exist. Mitchell's face cycled through confusion, denial, recognition, and terror in about 3 seconds. Chief, I didn't. Deputy Mitchell, correct? I've seen your name in the personnel files. I was planning to meet you next week. Williams held up the badge where the body cam could capture it clearly. I guess this is our introduction. Mitchell stood frozen, the magnitude of his mistake expanding by the second. Williams remained calm, almost gentle, which somehow made it worse. Do you know why I was hired, Deputy? Mitchell's voice was barely audible. I heard there were issues. Issues. That's a polite word for it. Williams gestured to the empty highway, the rural stretch of road where he had been stopped for no reason. The DOJ found that this department was stopping black drivers at 8 times the rate of white drivers. That drug searches were conducted on minorities without probable cause at 12 times the rate. That complaints were ignored, buried, dismissed. He turned back to Mitchell, and I was brought in to fix it. He gestured to his Lamborghini. 2 weeks on the job. I haven't even finished unpacking my office. And one of my own deputies pulls me over and searches my car without consent, without probable cause, without any legal justification whatsoever. The words landed in the afternoon quiet of State Route 35. Because I'm black, and this car is nice. Is that about right? Mitchell had no response. Because that was exactly right. Williams pulled out his phone. Dispatch, this is Chief Williams. I need a supervisor to my location on Route 35, mile marker 47. Deputy Mitchell's cruiser. The response crackled through, confused. Chief, you need a supervisor? Yes. Immediately. He ended the call. Looked at Mitchell. You're going to stand right here until your sergeant arrives. You're not going to touch your radio, your phone, or your weapon. You're going to answer every question I ask. Mitchell nodded. Compliant now. Too late. First question, what was your probable cause for this stop? Subscribe if you want to see how evidence and authority can expose what assumptions try to hide. Stories like this need to be documented. Sergeant David Chin arrived in 12 minutes. He found his new chief standing beside a black Lamborghini Urus, arms crossed. Deputy Mitchell standing nearby, looking like he was about to be sick. Chief, what's going on? Sergeant, Deputy Mitchell pulled me over on this highway and conducted a search of my vehicle without consent, without probable cause, and without any articulable suspicion of criminal activity. Chin looked at Mitchell. At the chief. At the Lamborghini. He searched your car? Without consent. Correct. I asked him to state his probable cause before he began. He said the vehicle was suspicious and that a vehicle like this in an area like this raises red flags. He then searched the interior, glove box, and trunk without my permission. Chin's face went pale. Chief, I want Deputy Mitchell's bodycam footage preserved immediately. I want his dashcam footage preserved. I want his personnel file on my desk by end of day. And I want him relieved of duty pending investigation. Yes, sir. This investigation will not be handled by Internal Affairs. I'm referring it to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation to avoid any appearance of cover-up. Mitchell finally spoke. Chief, please, I didn't know it was you. That's exactly the problem, Deputy. You didn't know it was me. If I had been anyone else, any other black man driving a nice car on a public highway, you would have done exactly the same thing. The only difference is that person wouldn't have been able to fire you. Williams stepped toward Mitchell. How many times have you done this? How many people have you stopped for a suspicious vehicle when the only thing suspicious was their skin color? How many searches have you conducted without consent? Mitchell didn't answer, but his face answered for him. That's what I thought. Williams turned to Chun. Take his badge and his weapon. He's suspended without pay effective immediately. Criminal referral to the state attorney general's office will follow. Chun nodded. Approached Mitchell. Travis, give me your badge. Mitchell complied. The slow unburdening of a career ending in real time. At this point, opinions usually split. Do you think this situation could have been prevented with better supervision and accountability? Let us know in the comments. The investigation moved with the efficiency of a chief who knew exactly what he was looking for. Mitchell's bodycam footage was secured within hours. It showed the entire encounter. The stop without stated cause. The search without consent. The comments about vehicles like this and areas like this. His dashcam footage completed the picture. It showed Mitchell following Williams for 3 miles before initiating the stop. No traffic violation observed. No erratic driving. Just following a nice car driven by a black man. Mitchell's personnel file arrived on Williams's desk that evening. 34 previous complaints of racial profiling and illegal searches over 7 years. All marked unfounded or exonerated by internal affairs. Stop data revealed the pattern that should have ended his career years earlier. During his 7 years, Mitchell had conducted 412 discretionary traffic stops. 298, 72%, had targeted minority drivers. His colleagues averaged 24% minority stops on the same patrol routes. Drug searches told an even clearer story. Mitchell had searched vehicles 147 times. 134 of those searches targeted minorities. 0 drugs found in any of them. Text messages subpoenaed from his phone revealed the intent. 2:29 p.m., Mitchell to colleague. Going on a hunting trip. 2:47 p.m., same colleague. Bag anything? 2:51 p.m., Mitchell. Clean. But you should see this car. No way he paid for it legit. The hunting trip had been his term for targeting minorities in nice vehicles. The phrase appeared in his messages 23 times over 3 years. Social media posts, subpoenaed as part of the investigation, revealed the attitudes behind the actions. How do certain people afford these cars? Something doesn't add up. Cleaning up the highways one stop at a time. Another businessman in a BMW. Sure, buddy. The posts had been visible to his colleagues for years. No one had reported them. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation referred the case to the state attorney general's office within 2 weeks. Criminal charges, civil rights violations, illegal search and seizure, official misconduct. Deputy Travis Mitchell would face trial for searching his own chief's vehicle without consent. If accountability in policing matters to you, leave a like and share your perspective below. Chief Williams held a department-wide meeting 3 weeks after the incident. Every deputy, every sergeant, every administrator, mandatory attendance. He stood at the front of the room. Behind him, a screen displayed the bodycam footage from the stop. Paused on the moment Mitchell said, "A vehicle like this in an area like this raises red flags. I was hired to change this department. I didn't expect to become a case study on my 2nd week." He let the words settle. Deputy Mitchell stopped me because I was black and my car was expensive. That's not policing. That's profiling. And it ends today. He clicked to the next slide. Mitchell's complaint history. 34 complaints over 7 years. Every single one dismissed. This department had 34 opportunities to address a problem. 34 chances to intervene. 34 warnings that were ignored. He looked at the assembled deputies. How many of you knew about these complaints? How many of you heard Mitchell talk about his hunting trips? How many of you saw his social media posts and said nothing? Silence. That silence is complicity. When you see misconduct and don't report it, you're protecting the officer, not the community. That changes now. He outlined the new policies. Mandatory documentation of all traffic stops, reason for stop, actions taken, outcome. Automatic review triggers when any officer's stop patterns showed significant racial disparity. Body camera policy strengthened. Cameras active from approach to departure, no exceptions. Community Oversight Board established. Civilian review of all complaints. These aren't suggestions. These are requirements. If you can't meet them, This isn't the department for you. He paused at the door before leaving. I earned my car. 26 years of service. I saved for a decade. I'm not hiding it, and I'm not apologizing for it. If any of you can't handle seeing a black man in a nice car, you shouldn't be wearing a badge. The meeting ended. The message was clear. The transformation had begun. When leadership responds to crisis with concrete action, the results speak for themselves. Do you think mandatory oversight helps change police culture? Share your thoughts below. The criminal trial was held in Franklin County Court, removed from Greenfield County to avoid any appearance of influence. The evidence was overwhelming. Bodycam footage showing the illegal search. Dashcam footage showing 3 miles of following without cause. Personnel records showing 34 dismissed complaints. Text messages calling the stop a hunting trip. Social media posts revealing systematic bias. Deputy Travis Mitchell's defense argued he was following standard procedure. The prosecutor's response was surgical. What procedure? There was no traffic violation. There was no reasonable suspicion. There was no probable cause. Deputy Mitchell followed Chief Williams for 3 miles and invented a pretext because he saw a black man in an expensive car. She displayed the stop data. For 112 stops, 72% minorities, 147 searches, 134 targeting minorities, 0 drugs found. This wasn't procedure. This was a pattern. A 7-year pattern of targeting minority drivers in nice vehicles. Deputy Mitchell called it a hunting trip. The question for this jury is whether that kind of hunting is acceptable from someone wearing a badge. Mitchell testified in his own defense. It did not go well. I was just being cautious. That kind of vehicle, in that area? What about that vehicle was suspicious? It's a Lamborghini. In rural Ohio. Is it illegal to drive a Lamborghini in rural Ohio? No, but did you observe any traffic violation before initiating the stop? Not exactly, but did you have any information suggesting criminal activity? I was acting on my training. Your training taught you to follow black drivers for 3 miles and search their vehicles without consent. No answer. The jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty. Civil rights violations. Illegal search and seizure. Official misconduct. Sentencing followed 6 weeks later. Deputy Mitchell, you conducted hundreds of illegal stops over 7 years. You violated the constitutional rights of countless citizens. You brought disgrace to your department and your profession. 18 months state prison. Permanently decertified by the Ohio Peace Officer Training Commission. Barred from law enforcement for life. Subscribe for more cases where evidence exposes what assumptions try to hide. The investigation didn't end with Mitchell. His complaint history had been protected by supervisors who dismissed evidence. His patterns had been visible in data that no one analyzed. His hunting trips had been joked about by colleagues who never reported them. Chief Williams ordered a comprehensive review of every deputy's complaint history and stop data. The results were damning. 6 deputies showed patterns similar to Mitchell's: disproportionate minority stops, searches without probable cause, complaints dismissed without investigation. All 6 were terminated. 12 additional deputies showed concerning patterns that hadn't risen to Mitchell's level. All were placed on probation with mandatory retraining. Any future disparity would result in immediate termination. 3 supervisors who had repeatedly dismissed complaints against Mitchell were demoted. 2 chose to resign rather than accept the demotion. The DOJ consent decree over Greenfield County was modified. Chief Williams became the point person for all reforms. The same man who had been stopped and searched now leading the transformation. Within 1 year, traffic stop disparities decreased by 67%. Citizen complaints dropped by 54%. Community trust scores increased dramatically, the first positive movement in a decade. The department that had exemplified racial profiling was becoming a model for reform. Chief Williams filed a personal civil lawsuit against the county for the illegal search of his vehicle. The case settled for $1.2 million rather than go to trial. He donated the entire amount, $600,000, to establish the Williams Center for Police Reform at Ohio State University. Research and training on constitutional policing. $400,000 to scholarships for criminal justice students from underrepresented backgrounds. The next generation of officers who would do it right. $200,000 to the Ohio Innocence Project. Justice for those wrongfully convicted by the kind of policing Mitchell represented. When reform follows crisis, The numbers tell the story. Do you think settlements should be donated to reform efforts? Share your thoughts below. Travis Mitchell completed his 18-month sentence at a state facility in southeastern Ohio. His appeals were denied. His law enforcement certification was permanently revoked. His pension was forfeited. He works at a warehouse outside Columbus now. Has never spoken publicly about the incident. Chief Marcus Williams completed his third year as chief last month. Greenfield County is now cited as a model for police reform. The department that had been under DOJ investigation is now invited to train other agencies on constitutional policing. The 34 complaints that had been dismissed against Mitchell became training material. How to lose your career in one traffic stop. Required viewing for every new deputy. Williams still drives the Lamborghini Urus to work every day. The same car. The same route. State Route 35 through Greenfield County. I earned this car. 26 years of service. I saved for a decade. I'm not hiding it, and I'm not apologizing for it. The car has become famous locally. Kids in the community wave when they see it coming. Williams always waves back. If my deputies can't handle seeing a black man in a nice car, they shouldn't be wearing a badge. That's the standard now. That's always been the standard. We just started enforcing it. His daughter, the detective in Columbus, asked him once if he ever thought about getting a different car. Something that wouldn't draw attention. That's exactly what they want. They want us to hide our success, minimize ourselves, make ourselves smaller so we don't make them uncomfortable. I spent 26 years proving myself. The car is a symbol of that. I'm keeping it. The case file remains in Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation Records. Case number 2025 CR 01847. Subject: civil rights violations, illegal search and seizure, official misconduct. Location: State Route 35, Greenfield County, Ohio. Outcome: conviction. 18 months state prison. Permanent decertification. 6 additional terminations. Comprehensive department reform. DOJ consent decree modification. Principle established. Reasonable suspicion requires facts, not assumptions. Expensive cars aren't probable cause. And sometimes the person you profile turns out to be the person who fires you. Chief Marcus Williams proved that principle the only way available. By driving his car. By knowing his rights. By staying calm when stopped. By pulling out his badge only after the violation was complete. By converting an illegal search into institutional transformation. The Lamborghini still cruises State Route 35 every Friday afternoon. Same chief. Same car. Same commitment to reform. Some things you don't hide. Some things you display. Because earning them was the whole point. Subscribe for more stories examining leadership, accountability, and the real impact of decisions made in moments like this.
Each document holds a secret. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to keep unlocking the vault.